3 black-suited heirs crowded the dusty corral, the leather-bound will of their dead father open in Patricia's trembling hands. Old Kenneth lifted the Mustang's mane, exposing a faded ink-blue tattoo, 3 crossed lines and a small star.
That mark. It's identical to the symbol Dad left in the will. How can it be on a wild horse?
She pressed the open will against the horse's neck, the hand-drawn map matching every line.
Kenneth, this horse wears my father's mark. You're going to tell us what it means.
Weeks earlier, in the wood-paneled law office, Robert had dismissed the symbol as a product of their father's failing mind.
It's a meaningless doodle, Patricia. Dad was confused at the end. The note is nonsense.
The note says, "The answer rides free." That doesn't exactly sound sane, does it?
But I kept the will. That symbol felt intentional, a message he meant for us to solve. Kenneth, this horse bears my father's mark. You are going to explain why. Now.
40 years ago, your father pulled a newborn foal out of canyon floodwaters.
He waded through chest-deep water, carrying the shivering creature to safety.
He nursed it back to health, then tattooed that very mark into its neck. He told me that foal carried the only map that mattered. If it ever survived back into the wild, I thought it was just the sentiment of an old man who loved horses. I never took it seriously.
That's a wild claim. Horses don't live 40 years. You expect us to believe this is the same animal?
Horses can live over 30. The math works, and the tattoo is the proof.
Even if it's true, what's the map to? Gold? A buried secret? You are saying Dad left a treasure hunt on a horse's neck?
He never said what it led to, only that the answer rode free. I thought he meant freedom, not a literal map.
The siblings fell silent, the weight of the old man's riddle finally settling on them. Then Patricia turned toward the hacienda, the will in her hand. In the hacienda's map room, Patricia spread the ranch survey charts and laid the will flat under a brass lamp.
You are chasing shadows. That symbol is a doodle. Dad was 78 and half blind.
Look at the map. That star sits exactly on the old oak tree in the south pasture.
The star could be a coincidence. Lots of ranchers mark trees on maps.
Your father sat under that oak for hours. He said the land talked to him.
Dad planted a clue in the one place he loved most. That tree means something. We're digging there tonight. Robert, grab the shovels from the barn.
Digging? With no evidence? This is exactly what he wanted, making us look like fools.
Within minutes, the 3 heirs headed for the ancient oak, its branches black against the amber sky. Kenneth followed with a rusted shovel, the silence heavy with doubt and restrained hope. They dug into the hard soil beneath the oak, shovels biting, the last light fading.
This is pointless. We're digging up my late afternoon.
Keep digging. Dad wouldn't have led us here without a reason.
Wait, my shovel hit something.
He knelt and pulled a rusted horseshoe from the dirt, caked with decades of soil.
There's an engraving here, a star, faint but unmistakable.
That's his mark. But the creek changed after the flood of '44. The land isn't the same.
The old vaquero pointed toward the dry creek bed, now 100 yards from its original course.
Then the map is outdated. We need the old surveys from before the flood.
They shouldered their shovels and returned to the map room, the horseshoe sitting on the table like a new kind of map. Patricia unrolled a yellowed survey from 1940, its ink still sharp, the old creek snaking through the center. She laid the will's symbol over the old map, aligning the star to the oak. The lines stretched eastward. On the old survey, the intersecting lines shifted, and the star now pointed to a ridge intersection near the canyon.
The flood moved the creek. That's why the tree alone was a dead end. The real mark is on the ridge.
A ridge? There's nothing up there, but rattlesnakes and shale. You really want to climb it in the dark?
There's a cave your father used to talk about. He said it was where the land held its secrets.
Then it's worth a look. I'll get the flashlights.
They rode into the low hills as the last light bled from the sky. Kenneth's poncho snapping in the wind. At the ridge, Kenneth dismounted before a wall of brush, the dry canyon yawning behind them. He pulled back the branches, and the black opening of a cave stared out at them, silent, waiting. Their flashlights sliced the cave's thick darkness, revealing walls carved by ancient water.
Stay close. Kenneth, you said Dad talked about this cave. Did he ever mention a chest, a hidden stash?
Deep inside, the passage opened into a small chamber. In the center sat a wooden trunk, its iron bands rusted and flaking.
The lock is seized, but the hinges are crumbling. Help me pry it.
Robert wedged a crowbar under the lid. With a shriek of rusted metal, the trunk yawned open, revealing nothing but a folded paper.
Patricia lifted the paper, her voice tight. First cache found. The real treasure is not here. Look deeper.
Robert threw his hands up. That's it? We risked our necks for an empty box and a riddle?
A decoy cache. He wanted to see if we'd stop at the first disappointment.
He's testing our persistence. Look deeper. There has to be another chamber, a hidden passage.
They spread out, pressing their hands against the cold stone, searching for any seam, any hollow echo that could hide a door.
Here, this stone isn't set like the others. It moves.
She pried it free, and a puff of dry dust rose from the hollow behind it. In the compartment lay a folded piece of paper, dry and fragile, untouched for decades.
Follow the star to the water that runs backward.
The spring near the old cottonwood. I've seen its flow reverse after heavy rains, the water running upstream like a miracle.
So we're meant to dig in a swamp now? Dad's turned us into treasure hunters for a joke.
It's not a joke. It's the next step, and we're taking it.
They wound their way out of the cave. The night air sharp with the smell of sage and damp earth. Kenneth swung into his saddle and pointed toward a dark line of cottonwoods in the distance. They rode down the ridge, the spring's faint glint visible in the moonlight ahead, waiting. They dismounted at the spring's edge, where a cluster of rocks formed an unmistakable star pattern.
Another star. He wanted us to find this.
They plunged their shovels into the soft mud at the formation's center, the water seeping into their boots.
There's wood here, something solid.
Kenneth knelt and scraped away the silt, revealing a small chest no larger than a shoebox. Patricia pried it open. Inside, a handful of gold coins gleamed in the flashlight beam, untouched for decades.
They're real. 1936. He actually did it.
But this is only a few coins. The note said, "Cash found, not the whole stash."
This is a breadcrumb. The real fortune is still buried somewhere else.
They stood in the moonlit spring, gold in their hands, the tattoo's secret now a tangible promise. The hunt was far from over. Back in the map room, Patricia laid a transparent overlay atop the modern survey, the gold coins glinting beside her. She aligned the will's symbol. The three lines converged seamlessly on a single point, a disused mining shaft at the canyon's edge.
The old Silver Creek mine. Dad shut it down after a cave-in in '44. He never let anyone near it.
That shaft's a tomb waiting to happen. The timbers are rotted, the rock unstable. I wouldn't send a goat in there.
So we hit a dead end. No way am I crawling into a collapse. The coins we have are enough.
They're not enough, and you know it. Dad wouldn't have let us here for nothing.
We don't have to be reckless. We'll inspect the entrance at dawn, and if it's too dangerous, we find another way.
At dawn, they rode out to the canyon's rim. The mine entrance yawned before them, its timbers leaning like broken ribs.
Your father told me 40 years ago, if his children ever came looking, I was to show them. I never believed it would happen.
The cold draft from the shaft carried the smell of ancient dust and danger. No one moved toward the darkness.
We're wasting time. I'm going in. That gold could be 10 feet past the entrance.
Going in without supports is suicide. We need a mining engineer who knows how to shore it.
You are both missing what Dad would have wanted. He loved this land more than any hidden coin. That Mustang isn't just a map. It's a living thing he saved. We're going to honor that first.
The three siblings stared at each other, the mine's black mouth behind them, their father's legacy hanging in the balance. Then, by silent vote, they turned their backs on the shaft and walked toward the corral. Kenneth led the Mustang from its pen, the tattoo glinting in the morning sun like a secret still half told. With trembling hands, the old vaquero slipped the rope halter from the horse's head. The Mustang took 3 hesitant steps, then burst into a run, its freedom a promise kept.
We'll find an expert. Safely. Together. The answer doesn't die in a cave.
The geologist arrived in a dust-caked pickup, his hard hat scarred from a dozen unstable tunnels. He walked the length of the shaft, tapping timbers and listening to the echoes like a doctor with a stethoscope. He unrolled a sonar map on the tailgate, pointing to a dark void 50 feet beyond the collapse. That void is a cavity, hand-dug and reinforced with old cedar. It's been waiting a long time. For 3 days, workers installed hydraulic jacks every few feet, turning the mine into a metal-reinforced throat.
So the chamber is stable enough to reach.
Stable enough for a careful entry. But one wrong move, and this hill becomes a coffin.
Then we go in together? No arguments this time. I want to see what Dad buried.
We've come this far on trust. Let's finish it with trust.
They snapped on helmet lamps and stood at the newly shored entrance, the darkness breathing out at them. They stepped into the mine, the geologist leading, their lamps carving narrow tunnels of light through the choking black. 30 feet in, a painted star glowed on the rock wall, identical to the tattoo, its blue lines sharp under the lamp, untouched for 40 years.
It's his mark. He wanted us to know we're on the right path.
The tunnel narrowed until they reached a collapse, rock and rotted timbers sealing the passage.
This is where the cave-in happened. Your father said the banks failed him, but the earth never would.
Pinned to a splintered beam was a scrap of paper, nailed decades ago.
If you've come this far, the answer is below. Dig carefully.
Another test. He's making sure we're willing to work for whatever's behind that rock.
Then we clear it, carefully, and together. We've come too far to be stupid now.
They picked up shovels and began heaving broken stone aside, the scraping filling the tomb-like silence. As they dug, they understood. Their father wanted them to earn the fortune, not merely find it.
He didn't want us to just inherit. He wanted us to learn the value of searching together.
I mocked him for that doodle. Now I am covered in dirt and hope.
The old Patrón said the land would teach his children more than he could.
Hour after hour, they swung picks and shoveled rubble, dust coating their skin like ash.
Every stone moved is a step closer to the man I never understood.
Kenneth's old hands, used to lassos, found new calluses on the shovel.
Rest 10 minutes, then we push again. He'd have never quit.
The piles shrank by inches. The tunnel remained sealed, the air thick with exhaustion. They would not stop. Some walls must be broken before the truth can be seen. On the 4th day, Michael's pick struck a rotted beam, and the remaining rock collapsed inward, revealing open darkness beyond.
We're through.
A domed chamber opened before them. In its center, half a dozen wooden crates sat in military rows.
Dad actually built this. He was more than a rancher.
Kenneth knelt, running his hand under the first crate. His fingers found a small iron key, rusted but intact.
I have carried this key for 40 years, waiting for this moment. Your father gave me this key. Only if they do it themselves, he said. I never believed it would happen.
He trusted you with the final lock. That means more than the gold.
Trembling, Kenneth stared at the key, the weight of 4 decades pressing on his chest. The crates remained sealed, the answer still hidden, but the old vaquero's role was finally clear. Kenneth inserted the key. The lock turned with a grind older than most men, and the crate lid rose. Piles of gold coins gleamed under the lamp, stamped with dates from the Depression years.
There's a letter, handwritten on the same paper as the will. To my 3 children, the total cash is $7.4 million in gold, buried since 1936, divided equally among you. Give Kenneth 5% for his loyalty, and release the Mustang untouched.
Silence gripped the chamber. The fortune was real, but the final demand was no less heavy.
$7 million. and he wants us to give away 5% and let a wild horse go.
He wants us to honor what mattered to him. The horse, Kenneth, the land, not the gold.
The crates glowed, but the family stood at a crossroads. The answer had ridden free for 40 years. Now it demanded a choice.
We could sell the horse to a research program or adjust the split. 5% is a lot of cash.
Dad wasn't in his right mind when he wrote that. The court might not even enforce it.
If my share causes trouble, I don't want it. I served your father for love, not gold.
No, Kenneth. This whole quest was built on trust, his trust in us. We won't break it now. The horse carried that map for 40 years. If we sell it or cheat you, we lose the only thing Dad wanted us to keep.
Robert glanced at Michael, the weight of their father's ghost pressing between them.
She's right. We mocked him for a doodle, and now we're standing in his proof. We can't pick and choose which part to believe.
All right, the horse goes free, Kenneth gets his 5, and we split the rest. No shortcuts.
A quiet calm replaced the tension. For the first time since the will was read, they were truly united. The gold still glowed, but it was no longer the only thing that mattered. A bank security convoy arrived at the mine, armed guards flanking the crates of gold. One by one, the heavy boxes disappeared into the truck, their secret now a legal asset.
Years ago, your father told me the horse will carry the answer as long as it runs free. Never cage it. Never sell it, never brand it.
Then we honor every word. At sunset, we open the gate and let him go.
They walked toward the corral, the sun sinking low, the whole ranch holding its breath. The Mustang stood at the far side of the pen, ears pricked forward, as if sensing the change. Kenneth placed a soft hand on the animal's neck, the faded tattoo quiet against his palm.
40 years your father waited for this sunset. I think he's been watching all along.
The siblings gathered at the gate, no words needed. The orange sun burned behind them. The last act of the will waited for the last light of day. Kenneth swung the gate wide, the last barrier between the Mustang and the open range.
40 years you've waited, old friend. Now run.
With trembling hands, he slid the rope halter free, letting it drop into the golden dust. The Mustang stood frozen for one pulse, then drove forward, hooves tearing the earth. It crossed the fence line without slowing, a wild thing reclaiming the land it had mapped for decades.
There he goes, carrying the answer into the hills just like Dad wrote.
She sank to her knees in the dirt, the will still clutched against her chest, weeping without shame. Robert and Michael stood motionless, the weight of their father's love finally understood. In the distance, the Mustang joined a band of wild horses, a dark silhouette against the dying sun. The answer rides free. 40 years of silence, broken by hoofbeats and a fading blue star. In the cold vault, an appraiser confirmed the total, $7.4 million in Depression-era gold. Each sibling signed the division papers, their shares equal and uncontested. Afterward, Patricia handed Kenneth a check for 5%, her eyes wet.
I never expected this. I only kept his secret because he was my friend.
You were more than a ranch hand. You were the guardian of his will.
He believed you'd find it, even when I had doubts. I am sorry I ever doubted.
The old vaquero broke down. 4 decades of silent service finally acknowledged. Robert and Michael stood in the doorway, the weight of their own earlier doubts replaced by respect. The gold was secure. The division was final. Larry's letter had been honored to the last line, but the real treasure had already been set free, galloping under a wide sky. On a hill overlooking the pasture, Patricia unfolded her father's letter once more, the ink soft in the evening light.
Your father used to say that every star in the sky had a match on his land. I think he meant this one.
He turned a wild horse into a living map, not for the gold, for this. The searching together.
She turned a gold coin in her fingers, the date 1936 catching the light, and saw not greed but patience.
He loved this land more than any man I ever knew. He'd be proud to see you 3 standing together.
Robert and Michael climbed the hill, no longer in mourning suits, their faces softened by the journey.
We're going to keep the ranch, aren't we? As a working spread, the way Dad would have wanted.
No more suits. I am buying boots.
Patricia closed the leather-bound will for the last time, the symbol now a scar of shared memory.
The answer didn't ride free just for us. It rides for everyone who trusts in the impossible.
In his small adobe cottage, Kenneth folded his brown poncho and placed it into a wooden crate. He lifted the framed photograph of a younger Larry and himself, taken 40 years ago.
You trusted a wild horse and an old vaquero. Both proved worthy. Patrón, your children found the answer. Now, this old man can rest.
He traced a finger over Larry's image, the glass warm from the lamplight. The poncho, the hat, the key, all packed except the memory of a promise kept. He took one last look around the bare room, its walls holding decades of quiet service. Then he lifted the crate, the weight of a lifetime settling onto his shoulder.
No regret, only gratitude.
The door closed behind him, the old cottage silent, waiting for a new story. The ranch woke to a new season. The siblings worked the land together, their father's love rooted in every fence post. Kenneth sat on his riverside porch, a fishing pole in hand, the check framed beside Larry's photo. The Mustang ran with a wild herd now, its buckskin coat blending into the prairie gold. Beneath the mane, the blue tattoo had faded to a ghost of intersecting lines, almost invisible. Patricia mounted the rusted horseshoe above the hacienda door, a symbol not of luck, but of proof. From the ridge, the ranch stretched out like a map of their father's heart, every hollow and rise a memory. And when the Mustang crested a distant hill, the dying light caught the fading star one last time. Its eye held the wild patience of 40 years, the answer still riding, still free. Larry's secret was never the gold, but the journey he carved on a wild heart. And as the herd disappeared into the dusk, the only sound was hoofbeats, free, unbroken, and alive.